Welcome to the Future of Field Service podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Nicastro. Today, we're going to be talking about digital transformation lessons learned. We know that digital transformation journeys can be fraught with complexity. And I think it's incredibly valuable to hear from folks lessons learned when they are willing to share those. So I'm excited to welcome to the podcast today Klaus Glatz, Chief Digital Officer at AndRITZ. Klaus, welcome to the Future of Field Service podcast.
Hello, nice to be here.
Thank you for being here. So before we dig into AndRITZ's digital transformation journey and some of what you've been leading for the organization, let's first just share a bit about yourself, your role, what AndRITZ business does for anyone that might not be familiar, and we'll start there.
Yeah, you're welcome. First, starting with AndRITZ. AndRITZ is a global acting machine and plant engineering company. We deliver big machines and big plants for different businesses. Our biggest area is pulp and paper, where we deliver from unit machines, single machines, up to big mills, big pulp mills. The second one is hydropower plants, starting from hydropower plants to small pumps. Everything related to water and energy production. The third one is metals, where we do metals processing and metals forming. So we are doing big presses mainly for the automotive industry, and do all forms of transformation of different steels and metal products. And then we have a fourth one, which is separation, where we do liquid and solid separation. It's sludge dewatering. So mainly from municipals. So it's a broad range of separation of different materials.
Okay.
As you said, my name is Klaus Glatz. I'm Chief Digital Officer at AndRITZ, being responsible for our global IT as well as the whole digitalization activities, which we call here smart services. We're also field service management is part of, and what we're doing here is we are delivering new services, new products, thinking about different business models, what we can offer to our customers. The overall goal for sure is to help our customers to be more efficient, to be more productive, to reduce downtimes or unplanned downtimes as much as possible. And field service management for us is a key topic here, as we have a big crowd of field service technicians out in the field, and we need to better optimize what they're doing, how we schedule them, how we can support them with material documentation, and also how we shorten the whole reporting part, but also I guess the whole cash flow part, so to say. How long does it take for us to create invoices to send it to our customers? Because this has an impact on our cash flow. So I guess digitalization for us is on one hand internal digitalization. So I guess optimizing processes, delivering also new solutions in order to help our people to really focus on what they should do and not, I guess, losing time in having bad products or bad applications or whatever. And then the second hand, I guess we are doing digitalization for our customers, creating additional revenue, implementing new models like performance-based contracts, revenue sharing models, up to equipment as a service. So we have different ideas here, how we can help our customers to better use our products, but also, I guess, to at the end of the day, I guess, to create more revenue in what they're doing.
Okay. And so when you and I spoke last, we had a whole conversation around the fact that, evolving customer demands and what your customers are looking to AndRITZ for is what's driving your digital transformation efforts, whether that's, internally to be able to serve them better or externally in new offerings. Yes. So we talked about a few trends that you've noticed, recently with how customers are changing in what they want or how they want to work with you. So I want to talk about a few of those. So the first we talked about is in your industry, you explained to me that historically customers have wanted to maintain a pretty high level of self-service and that they are now wanting to relinquish some of that control and move to more of a full service partnership with AndRITZ so that they can focus on their core competencies. So tell us a little bit what you've seen in that regard, because I think that that's something that would be a shared observation across a number of different industries.
Mm. I think that the whole cooperation relationship is getting more integrated. So I guess it's not just we deliver something and then I guess we hand it over to the customer and then tell him have fun, and if you need service, I guess just call us. So I guess our intention here is to help him to create more output by reducing, which is relevant for us, energy consumption, chemicals, all of this stuff. So it's for sure, I guess we learn, I guess, what customers are doing, how they operate our machines and plants. And this is what we use here based on data to help him to optimize how he's running our equipment. And that's why I guess it's urgently, or it's really needed that we work together, we cooperate and help each other. We help the customers, I guess, to be more efficient, and the customer helps us to better understand our machines and products and further optimize them. So it's a win-win situation for both, and this is definitely what we're striving for. And I guess the worst thing, typically, what happens to customers in our industry is if they have unplanned downtimes. So if a machine is failing, I guess this creates immediately, I guess, huge losses because I guess each of these machines is needed to produce something. So it's our interest, but also the interest of the customer to avoid as much as possible unplanned downtimes. And also, I guess, from an integration perspective, we see a tendency that we are heading more in also things like pay-per-use or machine or equipment as a service, or I guess it's output based contracts, where
Mm-hmm.
we really guess where we really guess make sure that we are responsible here from starting from delivering a machine to the phase where we fade a machine out. And still, I guess we help him with our service people, with our predictive maintenance solutions to understand what's going on and to better plan or better forecast what's going to happen. It's always easier that if we know that a machine needs maintenance or service in 2 months, then we can properly plan it. I guess if the machine is failing today, it's it's nearly impossible to help a customer. So it's bad for both sides, and that's why the
Mm-hmm.
integration between a customer and a supplier is getting deeper and is getting more intense. And this is, I think, beneficial for both sides, because also our interest is to have happy customers, and that's why in our case, as said before, we need to avoid unplanned downtimes as much as possible.
Right. That makes sense. And so, as a part of this evolution, customers are looking to you now, not just to provide service, but to provide a lot of insights. So, insights on how they can optimize the use of your equipment, insights on, common patterns of failure points, and how you can, like you said, use predictive analytics to work ahead of those, and as a way to avoid that unplanned downtime. So I guess that's the other big trend is you're not just in the product or service business, you're in the insight and information business as well,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Absolutely,
And that,
because I guess as you've seen the evolution here, we were used to provide our machines, I guess, a lot of steel, a lot of automation solution to operate them. And now I guess we're talking a lot about sensors, collecting data, converting data into information into knowledge that we also understand. I guess we are experts in our domain, what we're doing. We understand our processes, but I guess with having this data available, collecting dozens of different sensor information, also puts us into a position that we still learn how we can further optimize or improve our machines. If you see as an example a big pulp mill today, we have 125,000 variables which you need to understand in order to produce the optimal output. I guess for people working within 30, 35, 40 years in such a mill, they understand how to operate such a mill. The issue for the customer is that, because of demographics, the people are somehow retiring. The question always is how to capture the knowledge and how to convert their knowledge into data. And it's all about data, and because data helps us to understand our internal processes in our pulp mills, hydropower plants, whatever, and help us really to do better decisions. And the vision here for us for sure is that at some point in time we go more and more towards autonomy or autonomous solutions, because I guess it's if you have seen such a mill operating 365 days, 24 hours, using typically 3 shifts, I guess it's not fine to work in such environments, and that's why I guess the more we can help our customers to guide the operators to do autonomous decisions, the better, I guess, or the less people you need in order to operate that, which is maybe, I guess, an issue because of jobs, but at the end of the day, it's a very dangerous environment. It's an unhealthy environment, and that's why I guess it's also an interesting possibility for us, but also I guess for the customers that with having digital solutions in place, this would first optimize what they are doing. We would guide them which decision they need to take based on historical data, based on algorithm, based on forecasting, to really produce what the customer of our customers wants to have.
Yeah. I think it's, I want to just pause for a minute and go back to a point that you made that I think is a really powerful point, which is, and I'm kind of paraphrasing what you said a bit, but I think that, one of the points you made made me think about, to be successful as a service provider historically, you had to be the expert of your industry, right? You had to be the expert of your business and the solutions you're providing. I think to be successful in today's landscape and going forward, you need to not only be an expert about your business, but you need to be an expert about your customers' businesses.
Yeah.
So there's the more you can learn about the ins and outs of how they operate and what that actually looks like, the more you're able to craft services and solutions that help meet those needs. So it's I guess more work maybe than it has been in the past, but also a lot more opportunity, right? So I want to talk about, thus far, how have these trends, both in, customer expectations and needs, as well as what's possible with the technology that we have today, how have these trends changed AndRITZ service offerings thus far, and how do you see that evolving in the coming years?
Yeah, I think that we still, I guess, technology gives a lot of opportunities here. Starting from, as said, I guess, using modern solutions to better guide and dispatch our field service technicians, giving them with AR, virtual reality, mixed reality, the possibility to visualize things, but also get in contact very easily with real experts. And technology, I guess, offers here a lot of possibilities here. Still, we are still in the learning phase. Even we did already a lot, and would definitely see that, as said before, the integration between customers and companies like it's getting more intense, which creates some challenges. If you have, if the borders are not that clear anymore, but also gives a lot of opportunities. And we are really focusing on opportunities here and making sure that also, I guess, seeing how AndRITZ is developing. I guess we have now role or job profiles in place we did not have 5 years ago. It's everything data analytics, algorithms. So this is something where we really have an own team now working on that, which hasn't been existing, I guess, 5 years back. Still, I guess we are engineering. We are very engineering intense company. We are a field service company, but I guess still those competencies, skills will also be needed in the future. But we will add a bunch of different other capabilities and jobs or job profiles in order to complement in what we are doing. and still. Still think that we're at the beginning. Even we are doing a lot, but I guess technology gives us so much more possibilities here, which we still in the phase of learning and understanding how we can use them. Specifically, the whole thing around AI, machine learning, anomaly detection, which are key topics also for us to further improve our machines and plants. There, I guess we just started, and this is what for sure will be further explored, how we can use these technologies here in further optimizing what we are doing.
Yeah, I think that mindset of continuous learning is what drives companies to be successful. I think when you start to feel like you have it all figured out, that's when you stop making a lot of progress, because I think when you realize that the capabilities are as significant as they are, then that you can keep evolving and keep changing and expanding what you're doing. So I know that you mentioned within your customer base, with the retirement and turnover of some of the skill sets that have traditionally run these plants, those customers are looking more to AndRITZ to fill some of those gaps with your expertise. And then ultimately your goal is to provide, an autonomous solution to your customers, so that you've taken the need for those historical skill sets out. Is that,
Right.
I guess, an accurate description?
Yeah, I guess it's exactly what's happening, and it's not just forced by us, because this is, as I said before, this is demographics, and to find real experts in those areas is not easy. You need to educate them, you need to train them. It takes really years over years to be able to run those big mills, because the issue is that you do something now and which has an impact, or where you see the result 8 hours later. So it's not that you immediately see, I guess, the result. It's a time series, and if you produce 8 hours the wrong thing, I guess you lose a lot of money. So it's a very intense area, and that's why I guess customers are fully open here. Whatever we can provide to help them to better understand what's going on, to better assist them and guide them in order to avoid that they are producing 8 hours the wrong part, so to say. This is definitely something what they're looking for, and selling those solutions was challenging, because also our sales force was not used to sell digital solutions or services. But now I guess they are more used to that, maybe, as they have been 3 4 years back. And also here, I guess it's not easy to sell those solutions, because if you're used to sell a product, a machine, you can talk very intelligently about the mechanics and the physics, whatever, to explain now how we're going to use data, algorithm, machine learning, artificial intelligence to further optimize in what you're doing is not easy to explain. And this is something also that we also needed to learn. Which competencies do we need specifically on sales in order to convince our customers, I guess, that what we're doing makes sense?
Right. Yeah, that's a very good point. And you had mentioned a few minutes ago the idea, and this is one of the most exciting topics to me in this space, is looking at how service businesses are evolving and what that means in terms of how current roles are changing, but also the new skill sets that are going to be needed within businesses. I think it's really interesting, and really a lot of exciting things will happen over the coming years as we kind of see that play out, and a lot of good opportunity for folks. Obviously, the role of the frontline field service worker has changed. To your point, these customers no longer just want them to show up and fix something that's broken. They want them to be, a trusted advisor type of relationship. So what has that been like for the frontline workers of AndRITZ?
Yeah, it's also for them, as I said, I guess the trusted advisor is definitely something, how describes it very, very, very accurate. and still also they need to develop themselves, because I guess it's still you need our field service technicians. They still need to fix something. They have their tools with them. But what has changed is also, I guess, the digital tools what they're using, because also one thing which is crucial for us is, also in this area you need a lot of experience. So if you have now a junior, typically we had the need to send the junior and the senior together to a job site, because the senior was training the junior how to do things. And what we've seen here is, with using remote assistance tools, augmented reality, electronic documentation, it's not always needed that there's always a junior and the senior going together to a job site. So I guess we send the junior. I guess he's wearing a HoloLens or whatever, or whatever product. And I guess the senior is sitting in his office in the headquarter, and still helps him to get his job done. And the cool thing is that the senior could now act as a multiplier, because he can now instruct 10, 15, 20 different people being at the job site, and not having the need to travel that much. And this is also something what we have learned, that also here it's something different if you're at the job site and you do your things by your own, versus you instruct someone to do things correctly. And also people need to learn here how to use those tools, how their role is changing, how they really be the one guiding other people. There we have seen, I guess, some changes. And even, I guess, when we're using our predictive solutions, we have also a performance center where immediately you can see, I guess, how different machines are performing. And I guess our overall target always is that to find out or to suggest maintenance work, field service activities before something is happening. And this is also something what also changed, because, as I said, I guess typically they were used as firefighters, emergencies popping up, and they were flying through the world like hell. And today, I guess it's much more controlled. If we understand our machines much better. We see, I guess, if a turbine, a pump, a filter press needs a service in one month, and then you can proactively suggest. Today, I guess you can suggest it to the customer. You can dispatch a service technician. It's not a big surprise. It doesn't get a call on Saturday or Sunday. You need to get onto the plane and fly to wherever in order to get things fixed. It's much more controlled. It's not saying that now emergency is gone to 100%, not at all.
Sure.
But still, I guess it's a complete different working environment, which is absolutely beneficial for the people, but also for the customers, because customers also can better plan work which need to be done here in order to keep this environment up and running.
Absolutely. Okay, so you've talked about a few, but I just want to recap real quick before we run through a few lessons. In terms of AndRITZ digital transformation efforts thus far, talk to us a little bit about what some of the key pillars of that strategy are. So I know you mentioned FSM. I know you're using IoT and predictive analytics. Talk to us a little bit about what some of those core components are.
Yeah, so Sarah, I guess for the whole field service environment, it's our field service management solution, which we're using globally, or we are in the phase of rolling it out globally. On the IoT side, we are using standard components and standard products. We are also, once it comes to cloud or IoT cloud offerings, I guess we are not working with one specifically, because I guess customers typically have their preferences, which we need to respect, so to say. We have a very strong internal development team where we develop a lot of things by our own, because what we have learned is that to develop a good algorithm requires a deep domain expertise in what you're doing. And that's why I guess we are doing those things, as said, mainly by our own. And we are not using a standard platform. Well, in our industry, I guess still customers would like to have the solutions still on premise, which creates some issues in data exchange. They are heading more and more towards cloud, but there's still a way to go. And we even started to develop our own sensors, specifically for our needs, together with universities and other companies for sure. But I guess we are also today in the position to offer our own sensors. And that's why I guess it's not that we're using these 5 building blocks or the 5 standard products. We do it mainly use case based or on a need base, because the requirements or the environment in the pulp mill is different than in a hydropower plant. That's why we also need to use different components and different solutions for that. And we are not, as said, we are not just doing one complete stack of one vendor, so to say. So we do it selectively, where we think, I guess, we could get the most out of it.
Okay. All right. So let's talk through a couple of the lessons learned. So the first comment you made is how important it is to think big but act small. So
Yeah.
tell folks what you mean by that.
Yes, that's why I said, I guess our vision was and still is, I guess, we want to develop an autonomous whatever. I guess if you start from zero, I guess it's very ambitious saying, I guess, at some point in time, I guess all of the things should run autonomous. That's why I guess you need to have a very clear plan, which steps you need to take in order to get there. And we also started very small, very easy, took a very simple product and really started to understand how we need to develop our competences and our skills in order to be able to develop those things. For sure, yes, it's important still. Things like you need a proper budget, and you need to have a project sponsor, and you need to have also someone who has a vision where I want to develop to. I guess from a product solution perspective, it's easier. From a business model change, it's much more complex. From things like equipment as a service, it's also a different complexity. But we started really with, as said, quick wins, easy things, and started to get all these models what we're developing together. And we also have now today a very strong development team. We also have distributed development with people in India, with people in Croatia, with people in Austria, with people in Finland. And as said, I guess you need to really see to break a big thing into small pieces and then be quick in the delivery. We also now integrate customers in our discussions. So once we're doing a proof of value for something, we typically have already 10, 15 customers willing to test, willing to use it. And we also expand our reach, so to say, or our chain, also including customers. And once we did with a tool called Spareback Catalog, we had 15 customers, which we used in order to cross-check and to challenge if those things what we think a customer needs is really required or requested by a customer. So I think you need to open up your channels, your partnering, your collaboration, and really understand what are the needs of a customer, what he really needs, and for which parts he's really willing to pay. Because at the end of the day, for sure, also our interest is to increase our revenue side, and that's why I guess it's important not to work 2 years in your protected environment. Go out to the customers, learn, I guess, understand. Failing is also okay. This is also what we need to learn, and it's think big and start small.
Good. The next area of importance is understanding how critical clean data is. So tell us what you've learned around the importance of clean data.
This is the absolute key area. So if you're working with bad data, you can have the best solution and the most fancy thing in place. It will not work. And also in our case, data integrity, the correctness of data was and still is a huge topic, as in each and every other company. But data is key and of utmost importance. You cannot do good decisions with bad data. And this is something, I guess, which is painful and which you need to understand, and which creates huge efforts in cleaning data. But you have no other alternative than take this topic, clean up the data, make sure data is still valid, is correct, is updated, because otherwise, I guess you will fail with whatever you are doing.
Yeah, very good point. And then the third point is that process harmonization is equally important and an area that often gets rushed. So tell us a little bit about process harmonization.
It's Also key, I guess, if you see the relevance of topics, process harmonization is also very important because to support different process variants, different process situations with one tool always creates a lot of complexity. So you need to have slim and easy processes in place, and then also it works to implement the tool. If you have 15 different divisions with 45 different process variants, to support that with one single solution is a mess and creates real complexity. And typically, this is then not working as expected. Either it's slow or creating the wrong output or doesn't integrate with anything. So process harmonization and standardization is also really, really important because of otherwise you create too much of complexity.
Makes sense. So those are really good points and good food for thought. And I think it's a really interesting journey that you're on. And I look forward to following you along and talking more as you guys progress toward the world of autonomous solutions. Klaus, any other lessons learned or closing thoughts that you would want to share?
No, I think that the whole change management aspect is also still a huge topic here, because change always creates some fears, so to say. So I guess it's also important that you communicate, you get the people on board, you get a lot of visibility and transparency in what you're doing. This is also what we had to learn, that maybe I guess we missed out change management at the beginning a little bit too much, so to say. So that's why I guess we also see this as very, very important, two-sided within the company, but also when cooperating with customers. And we don't want to steal your data. We don't want to misuse your data. We just want to learn from experience what we can improve. And this is a joint journey with our customers. And also customers need to understand that no, we are not misusing your data. And still, who is owning which data and who is allowed to access data is still sometimes a topic. But I would say that the whole change management aspect is also something which is key here to be successful. And if you lose job profiles, you win some others. But still, yes, it's being transparent, being also accessible for people to explain what you're doing is also key here.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Well, Klaus, thank you so much for being here and for sharing your journey and your perspective with us. I really appreciate it and hope you'll come back and join us again sometime.
You're welcome. Whenever it's needed.
Thank you. You can find more content by visiting us at futureoffieldservice.com. You can also find us on LinkedIn and Twitter at The Future of FS. The Future of Field Service podcast is published in partnership with IFS. You can learn more about IFS service management by visiting www.ifs.com. As always, thanks for listening.